for the third time, let's go. So, negative indexes. So if we had a list 1, and I'm just going to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm just making a list of every day of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, and you could name this days. I'll actually do days because that's a little easier for me to type than list 1. So days, there we go. That's our list. How many elements are in this list? 7. So what does that mean the indexes are? 0 to 6, yes. And what is an element?
It's like what's inside of the
yeah, it's one of the items in the list. Or this right here is an element. This here is an element. That's an element. All of these are individual elements that make up a list. So a negative index, if I wanted to print Sunday and I wanted to use negative indexes, how would I do that? Lorian?
Days, bracket, -1, and bracket.
Yep. So again, that's just, how would I print Monday? How would I print M? Cole?
Actually, it's probably wrong. Wait, Monday?
Yeah.
Put in the negative or the positive?
Whatever. Whichever you prefer. There's 2.
Days -7 or no?
Yep. And what would be the way, what's the other way to do that?
So that's
Days 0. Yep. So this is index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then with negative indexes, Sunday is -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. Now list splicing, what you can do is you can take a chunk out of the list and have it be a new list. So we want the weekend. What do you guys consider the weekend? Friday, or is Friday part of the weekend?
Yeah. Friday night.
All right, I'm hearing a majority of no's. Saturday, Sunday. Okay. So if I wanted to splice a list, I would do so. Do you guys remember the symbol we put in between the brackets, Lorian?
The colon.
Colon. Is that all I need?
No.
I need something before and something after. Will I get an error if I don't, Brandon?
No.
If I don't specify where to start, where does it start?
0.
And if I don't specify where it ends, where does it go?
Yeah.
So if I just have that, I don't get an error, but
Yeah.
it's essentially a copy of the list. So I don't want that. Lorian?
I think weekend equals days, colon, or days bracket, I guess that would be 5:6, because then you start at 5 and you end at 6.
Is that what you were going to say, Cole?
Yeah, I was gonna say, couldn't you? I thought you talked about how you said that you could do 2 separate brackets and do like.
That's if you have a list inside of a list.
Oh, okay.
So I'll cover that in just a sec. That's only Saturday.
Oh, then 5 to 7.
I was gonna add one earlier.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can also use a negative index too. You get the same answer. So it's always 1 before this. So if you do put -1, it's going to go to -2, which is the same as index 5. So it just says Saturday. Questions so far? Zoomers, questions? No? Cool. There. All right, so if I want to, yeah, that's about it. You can make a copy of a list. Now, this is, you do not copy this down, just listen. So list 1 is 1, 2, 3. List 2 equals list 1. Does that make sense? List 1. Now I'm going to go over how to do this in a sec so you guys don't have to pay attention. I'm basically rewriting what the 0 index is of list.
So instead of 1, it's 90.
Yeah. List 2 What's the first item in list 2? What it does is when you create a list, and I don't know why it only does this with lists because it doesn't do it with variables, but it creates a list, and what this means is that these two things reference the same value. So whatever I do to one, it happens to the other. So I'll do what I did in the other class, and I'll draw on the whiteboard just because I like drawing on the whiteboard.
Could you say list negative 3 equals 9,090? Or would that equal the same thing? Do you want?
1 and negative 3 are the same in that list. So if I have x is 5 and y equals x, what does y equal? Okay. Now if I change x in the same problem to be x is 100, what does y equal? It's the same idea. Only with lists. So if I have list y equals list x and list x is 1, what does list y equal? Yep, just 1. So why they do that, I don't know. I probably should have looked that up before doing this, but whatever. Questions so far? Okay. Now,
Yeah,
oh, Asher,
one thing.
you're cutting in and out, buddy. I can't hear you. You're muted now. Asher, did you have a question?
Yeah, never mind.
Oh. Thank you, Andre. So let's say I have days. All right. How many items are in days?
3. Oh, Dave, sorry. 7. I thought it was list 1 for a minute.
Okay, that was the wrong number to pick. Okay, I just froze the shell. What is this number, by the way? Yeah. So there we go. How many items are in that list without sitting there and counting? I don't know. Do you guys remember an easy way to get that number?
Days.len, right? Or something like that.
List.len, no, it's len, short for length of the days. I'm sorry. So length of new. So there's 56 items in there. Does that make sense? Now, if I wanted to display the last item in that list using positive integers, what number would I type in?
$50, 57.
Nope, it's the other way around, Asher. Correct, 55. Because if I have, for example, if I have 56 items in a list, I go from 0 to 55 in my indexes. Just like if I have 10 items in my list, my indexes go from 0 to 9. Does that make sense? Cool. Now I can change values in a list pretty easily. I just tell it what value I want to rename. So days, I want days 0 to equal Monday, fun day. So now when I have days, I have Monday, fun day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Brandon, how would I change Tuesday, right, my little T, to be Taco Tuesday?
You go day, bracket 1.
Everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
Yes. Any questions on that? Questions so far? Is it warm in here?
A little bit.
Zoomers, you guys good? Okay. All right, so the next thing is list concatenation and list replication. What does concatenation mean?
When you add, when you add two strings together,
Very close, but incorrect.
they would not add.
Correct, we're not adding them because you can only add what in coding?
Integers and numbers.
Numbers, yes. So what are we doing when we concatenate things?
Combine.
Combining or putting them together. Yeah, I just want to hammer in that verbiage. So when we concatenate things, what do you think we need to do? So if we have, do we have a list 1? Do we have a list 2? Let's say we want to add, well, we want to concatenate days and list 1 together. What do? What are you missing in the code right now?
Can I guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
Could you possibly say like list 1 with empty brackets plus equals list 1 like plus 2 or something?
No.
I don't know.
I want to concatenate these two lists. So we have days as a list, right? Days are days of the week, and list 1 is those numbers. And we want to add those, we want to concatenate those together.
Days and what? Days and what?
Days and list 1. Lorian?
I think you put a comma between the two.
Nope.
You just assign it to a variable and do days plus list 1.
You could, but you can do it that way too.
Oh,
So it's just
So it's just like when we have string, when we do hello world. We just have we have a string or a list of 1 item plus 2. We get 1 and 2 in the list. So, make sense? That's an easy way to add, to get a user's input to create a list. Okay, we're going to go over that shortly. If I wanted to change, so I have days, I want to change Sunday to Sunday Sunday, as in like an ice cream sundae Sunday. How would I do that using negative indexes? Maureen?
days, open bracket, -1, end bracket, equals, Sunday. A, yeah.
Correct. Now days is Sunday Sunday. What do we do for Wednesday? Is there what?
hump day.
Hump day? What's Thursday?
Thursday.
Thursday, yes. Freaky Friday. That was a funny movie.
Oh, that's such a weird.
Say that again?
That I read the book. That was so weird.
No.
Be
Yeah.
better. It totally tripped me out of the book.
Questions so far? All right, now that we know how to add a list together, you're very tired, aren't you, Kevin? If you need to stand up and walk around and wake up, you're welcome to. Maybe do some push-ups or jumping jacks. No? All right. So we know how to add something to a list, and how we add something again? We blank what together?
Concatenate.
Concatenate the lists together. So you can do this.
Plus 1 plus that.
No, you can't do that.
Or,
You can do, so So you can take a string and make it into a list just like this by putting the brackets around the string. But you can't do list1 plus name. Yes?
What if you use like the list function and put name in parentheses? Oh.
It will actually list out the individual letters in the name. So back to Lorian, you can't add list plus name because list1 is a list and name is a string, and you can't add a string to a list. It has to be a list to a list or a string to a string. The way you get around that is by putting the string in brackets like this. Make sense? Cool. So if we know how to add something, we need to know how to delete something. So the way you delete, let's say we wanted to get rid of Thursday because we just don't like Thursday. We type del, which what do you think that stands for? Delete. And then we have our list. And then what's the index of th in this list here?
3.
You guys sure it's 3?
100%. Actually not. It's
No, it is.
Correct. So that's index 1, index 2. I'm sorry, this is index 0. This is index 1, index 2, index 3. So you just put the delete there, delete days 3, and it gets rid of it. So the reason you do something like this is you have a list of names, and you would ask the person, do you want to delete this name? You would display the name, and then if they said yes, you would have delete and the index of that name. Now the thing that I want you guys to notice is the index of everything following gets shifted up. Now the index is from 0 to 5, not 0 to 6. It'd be like if you guys were all, let's say I had a list of your guys' names. So I had, or numbers. So I have Kevin is index 0, Lorian 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I said, Cole, you're deleted. Like, you're out of the list. Now stand up and go stand over there. I'm trying to wake you up.
Dude, I'm more awake than.
More awake? Are you going to say more awake than Kevin?
Yeah.
So if he's now been deleted from the list, what was your index before, Kevin?
0.
What's your index? 0?
1.
3. 4.
So everything from where he was gets changed. Everything before stays the same. Yes, Lorian. You may sit, Cole. You can't leave, no.
Is it possible to delete a bad guy, kind of like in Among Us, where one person gets pushed off the spaceship? Am I saying that correctly? Like they get pushed off the spaceship in Among Us?
They get ejected.
I want to make Among Us for a game. It'd be fun.
Yeah, so
That'd be
like,
so
is that how
cool.
you would delete a bad guy?
In our game, yes. We have a list of bad guy coordinates, and if the bad guy rectangle intercepts with our arrow rectangle, we delete that bad guy out of the list and the arrow, and every time we cycle through, we go through the list and say, for every bad guy here, split them at this coordinate. But once we delete the guy, he's no longer there. So yeah, delete is very big in the game that we make. Okay, so questions so far. I'm gonna jump over to just a new file. Now, so far we only know how to deal with a list that already exists, right? I hand create a list of all of the days of the week, or of the numbers, or of blah 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 blah. What if we want to leave the list creation entirely up to the user? Well, we could do, yes.
Would you do input list equals.
No. Oh wait, like input list equals? No.
Input bracket
No.
list equals.
No. No. You could do. So I'm gonna copy this from the book. Please enter a cat name. And I could go copy cat 1, and then I do cat 2, cat 3, cat 4, cat 5, cat 6, cat 7, cat 8, cat 9, cat 10, and then I could do cat list is cat 1, cat 2, cat 3, cat 4, cat 5, cat 6, cat 7, cat 8, cat 9, cat 10. Thank you. I'm glad you guys caught that one. So, let me save this. Please enter a cat name.
Kitty. Jeff.
Walter.
Joe. Billy. Cole. Billy Bob. Billy.
We already have Billy.
Again.
Say
Billy.
Billy too.
Billy 2. Billy Jr.
Billy.
Well, Billy, Biltger. So what's a weakness of this code?
It's super long. It takes a while to write.
Well, what if I don't have 10 cats?
Oh, yeah.
Or what if I have more than 10 cats?
That sucks.
Yeah,
Oh, wait,
this code's
wait,
kind of
wait,
useless. What?
Don't you have to use a for loop for this so that you
Or a
can
while
say,
loop.
like, or a while loop, yeah. So like, you can have your variable num for like the number of cats equals input bracket what's it called? Quote please enter the number of cats you have colon space end quote bracket enter and then
Not brackets, you're going to break it, but parentheses.
or that's what
There's a big difference between all of those.
I meant to say parentheses. But then you enter, and then that's the number of cats you have to do, and then you do like while this equal true or something.
You don't need a. Wait, are you doing? Yes, you're on the. Yes, that is it. So we'll get to that.
And then you just loop it as
Yeah.
many times as they have a cat.
So, yeah, I'm gonna just. I feel like I skipped something as I'm looking over here. Oh, because I'm. All right, so we'll get back to. Do you guys mind if I go back to this part? I'm sorry, I was just looking over here. You can also multiply lists by a number. And the way you do that, so if we have, and I did this in the other class, so list underscore of employees is, if you just have an empty list, you can't multiply it by anything. Because what's 0 multiplied by 10? 0. So if you want to do list replication, you have to at least have a 0. Or you can have something. You just have to have something in here in order for it to replicate. Now the reason you would do this is if you are making a list, you can ask the user how many people are in your list. So you could do user is int input how many people. whatever. It'll still work. And then you do list of employees times user. Now I have 45 spots where I can type in my employees' wage. Questions on that? So the difference between, what's concatenation, Cole? Combining two lists, or 3 or 4, whatever. What's replication, Luke?
I don't know.
What did we just do here?
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Creating a list.
Repeating a list might be a better way than replicating. Make sense?
I think so.
You basically take a list. Well, it's what's going to happen now?
String 10 times.
It's just gonna, it's not gonna give you that zeros, it's just gonna give you like whatever it is, it's like 450. No.
Well, what's going to happen here?
It's gonna be your,
Yeah, you're going to see string 10 times. So the same thing happens with the list. You can multiply it, and it will repeat whatever's in here. If you could do and it repeats 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 45 times. Well, it repeats 1, 2, 3, 45 times. Questions on that? Zoomers, how you guys following along? Well, I see Asher doing this, but you okay, Asher?
A little bit. I don't remember how to do the delete thing, but other than that, yeah.
Oh, you just delete and then you type in value. Now the question is, where is that value? Right here. We're missing a 2. Well, because I saw it ended 1, 2, 3, and I went 1, 3, 1, and I was like, all right, so it's got to be here, and I just kept looking for where I didn't see it too.
Okay, yeah, that makes. I remember now.
Okay.
So Mr. Sculptor,
Yeah.
you know when you type in string like up there a little bit?
Yeah.
If you were to type in, like, you put a little bit more, I don't know what your variable was. If you just type in like user times 10, would that have given you like whatever, like 45 times 10 there? Since like
Right here. Right here.
no, like you know where string times 10 is, like right a little bit below there.
Yeah.
You would type in like user times 10, would that have been what would okay.
Okay. Questions on replication, deleting. Okay. You can also real quick ask the user which person they want to change. So obviously we would add a little bit more code to this as opposed to just enter the index of the person. You would have like names or whatever, but you can always put is int input. Good. Someone saw that. I actually did do that one. Well, no, I didn't. That was an accident. Please enter the index of the employee you want to change. Now, again, when you're typing code, when you're creating your own code, you will have something better than just that. You will have a display. You will say, please enter the name of the employee, and you will use the name to change the, right? It'll be a little bit more flushed out than just enter the index, because the index, I don't know what index correlates to what person. You know what I mean? So I would type in 4. And so now list emp is all of, oh. There we go. Excuse me. So if I were to do list underscore emp, what's going to display? what number is gonna pop up?
4. Or no,
Zero.
3.
0. Because if user is 4, what's the list emp of 4? What's the fourth index of list emp?
0.
Yep, because there's
Alright.
0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, same. So we get the same thing here. You can also, if you want to rewrite, right? So you take the user input to change the index, and then you go so now the 5th employee in the list, index 4, is making $15.99 an hour.
Mr. Stolder,
Yep.
what would happen if at the top you said list emp equals brackets 1 times 10?
You would just have it.
change this-
You'd have it repeat once.
Oh, okay. So you can change that one, and then it would make all of them that.
Yeah. This is just I use 0 as a placeholder.
All right, cool.
Do you guys understand this line? Okay. You ask the user what index they want to change, and then you say, what do you want to change that to? And it rewrites the 0 and puts whatever they've typed in there.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So it doesn't add or subtract, it just rewrites it, overwrites what was there. Okay. Sorry about that little tangent. We're going to jump back to our cat list. So again, this is a pretty lame code. Not because it's talking about cats, but because it only works with 10 cats. How many cats do you have, Brandon?
0.
Does anyone here own cats? Kevin, how many cats do you have? You have 2 cats. Would this code be useful for you? Not really. You'd have to make up 8 cat names. That's not fun. So, like Lorian was saying, you can do this with both a for loop or a while loop. We're going to start, which would you prefer to start with, Lorian? For loop. All right. So, a for loop is a what-based loop? This is a question directly from your test. What? Yes, a for loop is a count-based loop. That means I have to have a number, typically. So, if the user is in charge of creating this list, and we're creating the list based on user inputs, what do you think we need to do?
Ask the user for their input.
Yes, so we're going to use times is, and what is their input? What's the prompt? Yes. Then what do we do? If we're doing a for loop,
Or X, or
you can do X. Because we're only repeating the code X amount of times, we're not actually doing anything really with X. I mean, you can if you want to embellish the code and ask for cat number 1, cat number 2, cat number 3. But you don't have to. So for X in what?
for X in range times, you can spell range. Again, range.
Renaji? For X in range times,
And you put, please enter your cat's name.
is that it? You got to make that a variable. And then what do we do? How do we add what they've typed into a list?
Don't you have to keep it running?
Ooh, you're getting close. Do we have a list right now to add stuff to?
No, so you have to create it before the for loop.
Yes, and we're just going to go. What do I put in here?
0.
Like that?
No, you have to put it in brackets.
Yep.
Empty bracket.
Empty brackets, nothing inside of it. We're not replicating it at all. We're concatenating to it. So now, just like the running totals we've done with numbers and strings, what do we do here?
Cat names equals cat names plus name.
Yep. And then we want to print cat names. How many cats do we have?
7 million.
I'm not typing in 7 million cat names.
5.
Cole, you're gonna do it. All right, Kevin, give me a cat name. Kane? King? Hmm.
She didn't make name a string.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's a string.
No, sorry, I mean a list.
Oh, that's what I forgot. All right. How many cats? 5. King. All right. Luke, or actually, let me go with the zoomer. Will, give me a cat name.
And Phil.
Phil. Asher, give me a cat name. Apparently with an apostrophe.
Oscar. Or I mean,
Too late. Andre, give me a cat name.
I had a cat named Dora.
Did she explore a lot?
Yeah.
Cool. And Luke Luke F.
Tom.
There we go. King, Phil, Oscar, Dora, Tom. Cat names. Now, we want to know how to do things. What's a disadvantage of using a for loop for this?
It would be there with a while. If you don't have any cats.
Well, if I don't know how many cats I have, if I just have a list of cat names, I may not count them first. So I'm like, oh, well, I don't know. Or, let's say you're playing a game and you want to build a list, but you don't know how many things the user is going to need. What if they start with $1,000 and you need to create a list of all the things they buy? Do you know how many things they're going to buy? Do they know how many things they're going to buy? They're going to buy as many things as they can for that $1,000 depending on what they can buy, depending on the prices of everything. Luke may value health items, whereas Cole may value weapons, whereas Lorian may value power-ups, right? So if you don't know how many things they're going to want, you're going to need to know how to use a while loop as opposed to a for loop. Make sense? So it's good to be able to build a list with both a for loop or a while loop. So because it's very similar, we're going to copy this and paste it. If we're doing a while loop, what's the difference between a while loop and a for loop? A for loop is a count-based loop. A while loop is a, Anna? Condition-based loop, yep. Okay, there's just 3 more things. I don't think I'm going to get done by 2:20, so I'm sorry. So do we need an integer input here? If it's a condition, how do we do a while loop? No, you guys said no. So we typically ask the user for something, right? Yes.
Input how many cats?
No. We're going to assume yes. Because this is a cat naming function. If you open it, we're going to assume you want to name some cats. So instead of a for loop, what do we put here?
While
What's our condition?
While user does not equal 1.
Or you could do equal yes. Either one. Can we keep this part?
Yeah.
Can we keep this part? Alright. Are we good? We're good?
No.
No.
You need to know when you want to stop.
Oh, and how do we do that, Brandon?
You need to user equals input. You want to stop. Or something like that. Yes or no.
What?
Yes or no.
Well, I have to. Do they want to what?
You want to end program with this. I don't know. But
Have you reached max amount of cats? Or maybe do you want to continue?
You want to stop.
you want to keep continuing.
Continue, I think, would be the best thing to use. Because if they say no. See, this is, while it does not equal no, that means if I would change this to while it equals yes. Because this up here was yes. So as long as they type yes, it'll continue, anything else will be no. That's just what I would do. So now when we run this, please enter a cat name. Luke,
Bob.
Bob, Brandon, Phil, Cole.
You screwed it up.
I screwed it up?
Well,
Yeah.
no, I mean, you didn't,
Yes.
you didn't read it, so,
We didn't finish the function yet.
yeah. Well, like, you have to, like.
Oh, well, it doesn't look like it worked anyway, so.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Was that-
You have to continue, and then you have to do name again, that whole line, copy paste it at the bottom, right?
Well, let's see. Please enter a cat name. Maybe I just fat fingered something. Oh, do I want to continue?
Yeah, you just entered a name instead of yes. If you want.
Okay.
Cole, give me a name.
Brandon,
Anna?
Okay.
Aw. Dory, or, Lorian?
Pinch, P-I-D-G-E,
From Harry Potter.
no.
Hmm.
Voltron.
Oh. Kevin? What?
Peppa
What?
Pig.
okay,
Do I want to continue? No. Oh, it's Peppa Pig. That's right. It's like Pepper Pig, alright. So this has the ability to be more flexible. However, you are going to have to ask the user yes, which can be a little annoying. So again, depending on how you want to code it and how you want to interact with your user, that will dictate whether or not you write a while loop or a for loop. So Anna, the video you'll leave at about 43 minutes. So just watch the rest of the video from there and you'll be good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Homework is online, so you can take care of that when you can. There will be questions. There will be time on Thursday to work on it in class. If you finish, there'll be more problems for you to work on. So Thursday's just to work on stuff in class day. You're welcome.
so homework that's you want to do, maybe something do after the go.
Yeah. Your test corrections will be due by that day. So Zoomers, I will take pictures and I will email them to you. It is warm in here. Alright, so let me make sure. Alright, so here we go. Next thing. Supplies. So here's our supplies list. We have pens, staplers, flamethrowers, and binders. It's like a Mythbusters Mythbuster school. So, how would I print the individual items in supplies using a loop? Any ideas?
For elements and supplies.
Like that?
Yeah.
Nice. So what this is doing is, for the element in supplies, what makes up the list of supplies? Are there things that make up the supplies? The list of supplies? Can supplies be broken down into something else? Yes, it can be broken down into its individual elements. Can the number 10 as a 10 be broken down into something?
No.
Not really, no. Can the string 10 be broken down into something?
Yeah.
What?
1, 0.
Ones and zeros, yes. So if you want to display the individual elements of a list, this is how you do it. And if you want them, this is just a little fun thing. If you want to print them on the same line, if you add end, it'll print them on the same line separated by a space, because I put space. But that's not something I'm going to quiz you on soon. Yes?
So an alum, something that's pre-coded, or is that just a word that was
It just stands for element. So you could put for, and it would work.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a way. It's like for ch in string print ch. It's just to know that what you're printing is a character or a number or an element or something like that. So
I don't know if that's like pre-made or just doesn't make.
does it change color? That's the thing you need to know. If it doesn't change color, then it's not pre-made. Like print changes, string changes, for and in, and all that stuff. That all changes. Class, definite, you know, whatever. So, what if I wanted to print the index and the item together? Can we'd have to create it. So, can I, if I know the element name, so if I know that pens is the, say that again, Zoomer? I don't know who said it.
Oh no, sorry, my phone was like playing audio, and I accidentally muted myself.
Oh, so you're on your phone.
Well, no, it's like okay. I don't know how to explain it.
I get it. I'm messing with you. So, is there a way to display pens and display the number with it? If I'm using, do we know how to do that? How?
I don't know about that. I think you talked about it. Well, I mean, we know how to display pens, so that's not.
Correct. And how do we display pens? We use what? The index, which is yes, an integer. Can I use pens to display the number?
Yes.
Do you do
I
like,
can't use pens
Could you use,
to display the index of
could
pens.
you use the num? Could you,
I can use the number to display pens. So what we're going to need to do is we need to have our loop deal with numbers and use that number to display something in the list, as opposed to taking something in the list to get the number. Could you? Technically, yes, with a running total, but I don't want to use a running total. So that was a really roundabout way and probably somewhat confusing way of trying to get you guys to think that way. But I can use a number to print a number and to print the index and to print the item. I can't use the item to print the item and a number, is what I'm trying to say. Does that make that's a little bit easier? Okay.
Wait, what's an example of how you could print the index of pens? Like, how would you do that?
Oh. We haven't learned this yet, and we will. The list and then the command. This command searches supplies for pens and returns the number. But we're not doing anything. We're not doing anything list dot anything yet. So you guys can ignore that. But that's how you would do it. What we know how to do is we know how to do this. We can have a number get the element, but we don't know how to get the element to get a number. So you guys can ignore that for now. So for index in, if I want to cycle through the indexes of a string, the numbers in the actual string, or the numbers of the index of the string, what's my for loop condition thingamabobber? For index in what? Well, if I do supplies,
When you use the
I'm just getting the elements.
Range supply.
Range supplies. Is supplies an integer right now? Because you can only use range if this is an integer. How do we get an integer that relates to how many things are in a list? Nope. How long is a list?
Oh, that length.
Not dot length, just length.
Oh,
And then if we print index, what are we going to print? What numbers will show? Zoomers, anyone know?
that'd be 0, 0, 1, 2.
Does that make sense? Because we have supplies. How many items are in supplies, Cole? 4. So if we do length of supplies, we get 4. What's range of 4?
0 to 3.
0 to 3. So if we do range of length of supplies, we get the same numbers that are in range 0 to 4. Range 4.
What if you did print index plus 1? Would that work?
You would get, what's the 4th index of supplies?
3.
There is not that.
There is no index of 4 because how many items are in here?
4.
So this here is index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3. So you can't do this if you want to use index with this. So real quick, you would do for x in, or for index, alright, so we have that. We have now index 0, 1, 2, 3. How do I now print pens, staples, flamethrowers, binders?
Print index comma supplies.
Close. How do we print just one item in a list?
Supplies bracket. Whatever number you want.
Okay, and in this case, what's the number we want?
Index.
So we throw some strings in here and we go being able to use a number like this in range length supplies and being able to print things being able to print the items in a list using index like this is pretty helpful. Now, did that seem confusing?
A little bit.
What if there was something that literally, okay, so watch this. For index item, this is new. I didn't know about this until I opened the book. Is that easier? Instead of having supplies index, I can just type item. Enumerate and then item.
For index comma item. Enumerate. What does that mean?
What it does is it basically separates out the index and the item from a list and returns both of them. What's up, Kevin? Are you just that tired? Okay. Yeah, I didn't think you could do that. So in supplies, what 2 things of information can you get from here? It's index 0 and it's pens, right? So those 2 things of information you can get from there. What 2 things of information can we get here, Cole?
You can get 1 and staples, right?
Yep. What about here? Yeah.
2 and 5 are
And here?
3 and 5.
So that's giving you two things of information. So with this for loop, depending on what this gives you back, range only gives you one number. So I can't have for x and y in range because each loop, what bits of information can I get from the number 1? Just the number 1, right? Because it's not a list or anything like that. When you use enumerate, it gives you the index. It will give you back the index and the item at that index. So you can use that here. This will be needed for your homework, which should, yeah, yes. You could do it either way. Just for the homework, I want you guys to know how to do it this way, but from then on, you can do it either way you want. Last thing, random, and then we're done. And then you guys can work on your homework for the rest of the time. So, random. If I have supplies, and I want code to randomly select, why'd you close your Surface? The type cover was on it. It was closed. How are you gonna code with a sleep keyboard or a sleepy computer? All right. So if we have to import random. How would you guys and lady have your code randomly select something from supplies? What random things do we know? We know how to randomly what?
Get a number.
Get a number? Yep. So you could. How do you do that?
So like, oh gosh, is it random.randint?
Random.randint. Perfect. What do I need to put in here?
Random numbers.
My random numbers, which is if I want to randomly select a number from supplies,
0 to 4.
0 to 4. Yep. So that's going to give me 1. Oops. 2, 3, and 0 should come up soon. Oh, wait. Why'd that give me 4?
Whoa.
What?
Maybe this needs to be 3. Alright, you can do this. Okay. So that's going to give me 0 to 3, including 3. So now that I have this random number, what do I do, Cole?
Wait, oh, now you have a random number. Which one? Oh, okay.
This one. So I want it to randomly select something from supplies. How do I print just one thing from supplies? If you need help, you can help. Lorian can help you.
Okay.
All right, Lorian?
Wouldn't you take that number from the random and then say that equals the index, print index, and item? I don't know how you do that.
You can, but you can just mix it all up into one line. Do you guys see that? This is randomly selecting a number from 0 to 3, and then that number becomes the index of supplies. So now there's two things wrong with this or hard for this. I have to know the length. Right now, this code only works for a list with 4 items in it. How would I make it work for any length list, Lorian?
You take the list number, random.randint, parentheses 0, comma, length supplies, and then that should work. No, you need that other parentheses.
Okay. Is that right? What is the length of supplies?
It's 4. Wait, length of supplies minus 1 maybe?
Yep, that would work. But that's getting a little, whoa. You want to know an easy way to do this?
Sure. Seriously?
So what random.choice does is it will pick something from whatever's in here. Typically, what is in here has to be a list. If you put I can't spell. Subluis. Right, it randomly picks a character from that string. Again, typically this needs to be a list of some kind, because if you just do 1, 2, 3, it's saying 2 arguments, I gave 6. So it can't be like this. It has to be within brackets. Make sense? Now the last thing we're going to do is, so I have supplies. Let's say I wanted to randomly, let's say I had a deck of cards. I just don't want to type out deck of cards. Okay? If you do random.shuffle, what do you guys think that does?
Oh, is he gonna put them in like a different order?
Yeah.
Yep. So instead of pens, staplers, flamethrowers, binders, it's staplers, flamethrowers, pens, binders. And then you can do it again. So you can have it shuffle it, you know. Actually, we could do list range of 0 to 101. And then for X in range 10, random.shuffle. Oh, hang on.
How do you spell rearrangement?
R-E-A-R-R-A-N-G.
I was
ING.
wondering if there were 2 R's or 1. Oh,
List 100 for X in range 100. Let's just do 10.
oh my goodness.
So this list has been shuffled essentially 10 times. So if you're making a card deck, and you want it to shuffle through, you could use this.
So,
And that's it for today. So, 1, questions?
I don't think so.
Zoomers? Alright, I'm taking no questions from them. Anyone else? Okay. So, well, if no one has questions, you guys can start working on the assignment. And it is basically a review of everything we just did. You do not have to do problem 1. Problem 1 is a challenge problem, so Zoomers hear me. You do not have to do problem 1. It is a challenge problem. If you would like to, go right ahead. But that one you do need 2 for loops looping through. You need 2 for loops, one inside the other. And then also to get it to display like it is in the example, you have to use sep and end, which is something I briefly covered, but not enough to where I feel like you guys, 1, even remember it, or 2, know how to use it. So that'll be something we do on Thursday in class. I'm going to stop sharing the screen. I'm going to stop recording because there's no more questions. Hope everyone has a good day who's watching.